Greetings to you, great educators. Welcome to this video session. My name is Samuel Chukwuemeka. In this video session, we shall create a quiz and add the quiz in our classrooms for our students to take. A quiz is basically an assessment or an evaluation that you give to your students to determine their understanding of a specific concept or general concepts on what you have taught. Some teachers use it as a formative assessment. Some also use it as a summative assessment. Some teachers use it as a tool to measure what concepts their students have understood or the level of understanding of their students in those concepts so that they will know what concepts they need to reteach so that their students can master those concepts. So there are several uses, there are several ways you can use a Moodle quiz. Now, the first thing we do is we turn our editing on, and I would like to add my quiz on this week, September 16th to September 22nd. So I go to add an activity and I click on quiz. I would like to give a name to my quiz. So I have my quiz already here. So I might just name this test on percents and proportions. Okay. Then in the introduction, I will kind of give them directions on how to take the quiz or how many questions to answer. I might say, please answer all questions. All questions carry equal points. You can attempt the questions multiple times until you get it correct. Okay, so you might just kind of color this, but give it as like directions, kind of directions for them to follow. You can put a bullet on it. Now, the timing of the quiz, you can set when you want the quiz to be open or when you want to close it. As for this video, I just want to leave it open, so I disable it. It is already disabled, but if you want to set a time when you can enable it, you uncheck the disable and you put the date and time, and the same thing when you want it to be closed, you can uncheck it. But for now, I just want to disable it. I want to make it available. The time limit in minutes, if I want to set a time limit for my students to complete the quiz, I have to enable this and then put a time. But I'll just leave it, I'm not timing. This is an example video. Time delay between first and second attempt, you can set it here. Time delay between later attempts, you can set it here. Okay. Now, questions per page, I want it to be unlimited. Well, in this video, I will kind of limit myself to about 4 questions or 5. So I'll just leave it as unlimited, okay? But you can set it on how many questions you want your students to have in a page. Shuffle questions. Yes, I want this to be yes. I check it to be yes. If you look at the help icon, it tells you what shuffle questions mean. I want it to be randomly shuffled. Now, this is a good way, you know, so even if your students have the same questions, the question 1 of one student might be the question 5 of another student sitting close to that student. You know, if you have student A and student B sitting close together, question 1 of student A might be question 5 of student B. Shuffle within questions, I want this to be no, and if you read the help icon, it tells you that the parts making up the individual questions will be randomly shuffled. This only applies to questions that have multiple parts. Yeah, but I just want this to be no. Shuffle within questions. Attempts allowed, I want it to be unlimited attempts. I told them in the direction that they can attempt it multiple times. Each attempt is built on the last. No, I don't want it that. Adaptive mode, I want adaptive mode to be no. The mode, adaptive mode, if you read the help icon, it says if student's response is marked as incorrect, the student will be allowed to try again immediately. However, a penalty will usually be subtracted from the student's score for each wrong attempt. Yeah, I don't want that, so I'll put it no. Okay, I like my students a lot. I want to give them a lot of opportunities to succeed. Grading method, I want it to be highest grade, not the first attempt or average grade. You choose to set what you want. Apply penalties, I don't want any penalties. Decimal digits in grades, I want to leave it in two digits. Now, review options, this is very important here. Because if you just leave this like this, then your students may cheat. Okay, I want to uncheck answers. You know, I want us, if you are teaching a blended course, you probably want to discuss the answers with your students. So if you don't want them to see the answers, especially if they are not taking it at the same time, then you want to uncheck answers here immediately after the attempt. You uncheck answers here. While the quiz is still open, uncheck answers. After the quiz is closed, uncheck answers. But you want other options to be available to them. Now, this is very important because if you don't uncheck answers, then they might see the answer. Okay. And if you want your quiz to require password, you can put it right here. If you want it to require network address, you also set these options. For the security settings, group mode is not in group, so I leave it. Visible, I click show. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I would not prefer groups. You know, even if you're teaching 5 sections of the same class, I would prefer to have 5 classes, you know, rather than having groups for each class. Now, why? Because even with those 5 sections of the same class, you find out that your one class might be ahead of the other. You know, it is almost impossible to have all the classes on the same page. So I wouldn't create a very large class and then put those 5 sections as 5 groups in a large class. I would rather have 5 different classes, you know, and not worry about the groups. Grade category, you can leave this as uncategorized. We shall we don't want it to be in any of these grades. Okay, we just leave it as uncategorized for now. Now, overall feedback. This is an important general feedback. In general, depending on their overall score, what general feedback do you want them to receive? If you click on the help icon, it tells you that it is some text that is shown to a student after they've completed an attempt. You know, when you have a grade boundary 100%, the feedback is well done, and grade boundary 40%. If students who score between 100% and 40% will see the well done message. So what I will do here is I might say here, excellent work, and I want it to be between 90% and 100%. Excellent work. Keep it up. Keep it up. Now, this is just the general feedback, actually. So, if you want, you can fill up other grade boundaries, you know, but I'm looking at time also here. So, when I finish this, I will click on Save and Display. So it brings me to this window. Now, let's go over this one at a time. Now, you have your question bank here, and you have a category here. This is the default for your Moodle course shell. If you click on the drop down, you have default for test on percents and proportions. This is what we want to select here. Okay? We want it to be all the questions we are going to set on this quiz. We want it to be on test on percents and proportions. Now, once you give your quiz a name and save it, automatically the category is created. So all you need to do is to click on the drop down and select that category. Okay? If you have other subcategories, you know, you can also leave this check mark to display them too. If you have old questions based on this category, you can also check them, because you can always add questions to this category as well. Okay, this is under the quiz. Okay, now if you click on the questions here, the questions section, it gives you the questions. We have not added any questions. Now if you click on categories, it tells us, okay, that this is the category that we have. Okay, now if you click on this icon, parent icon, it tells you about categories. Now you have another category here called top, but that is not what we want. Now you can read this later on. Now if you click on import, you can import your questions using any of these file formats. From any of these environments, you can import your questions from the file. Okay, that is what this tells us about. Then you can also export your questions. If you click on export, you can export your questions in this file format. Okay, let's go back to quiz. And here you still don't have anything because nobody has taken the quiz. Now when somebody takes the quiz, you can look at the results, you can preview it. When you want to edit your questions, you can also edit it. Okay. The next thing we want to do is to add questions to our quiz. So here, create new question. We click on the drop down. I want to add about 4 questions in this quiz. I want to add about 2 short answer, 1 multiple choice, and 1 true and false. About 4 questions. You might want to read, if you click on this help icon, you might want to read the types of all these questions to see which one suits you. But for mathematics, you know, the questions that suit me will be a short answer or a multiple choice. Now, I will also add true and false just to show you how it works. So let me first of all add a short answer. So I select short answer, and then I have a question name. Okay, I might say this identify who. Now this question is just, you know, I just want to give it as a bonus, as a giveaway question, you know. The question text will be who is this guy? Who is this guy? Okay, it's kind of funny now. Okay, now I want this question to have an image. Okay, so here it says I want to leave it in HTML format. Now here it says image to display. Remember, I did images. You know, we talked about images in the previous videos. I talked about, you know, I told you how you can insert an image in your Moodle course shell. I think that is the second video on this playlist. So you might want to look at it again in that video. But already these are the images I have on my own playlist. Okay, I don't know the images you have on yours. So, but these are the images I have on mine. And I want to use my image. I want to ask my students, who am I? Okay, now the default question grade, I want to leave it as 1. Penalty factor, I do not want to penalize them if they get it wrong. I do not. So I will leave this as 0. Okay. General feedback, I don't want it. I just leave it as it is. Case sensitivity, I say no. I leave it. Case is unimportant. Then my answer, I want to, you know, with short answer question, you must provide at least 1 possible answer. So my answer I will put here Samuel Chukwu Emeka, which is of course my name. The grade, anybody who types it well, I put 100%. Then I want to leave a feedback for this particular question, for this particular response. Remember, the feedback about the boundary we left when we were still setting up the quiz is the general feedback. But this feedback is for particular responses. So I might say, excellent response. You know your teacher's name. Okay. Now, I copied it because I want to have another answer. Some people might not put Samuel Chukwu Emeka. Some people might just call me by my nickname, Samdom for peace. Some people might call me by my nickname, Samdom for peace. And the grade, I still want them to have 100. And I will put excellent response. You know your teacher's nickname. Okay, that's my nickname. Okay. And if I want to color this, I can color it. I like colors, you know. Put colors here. Okay. And any other answer, no. You know, any other answer, no. If you want more answers, you know, in this case, when you find out that your students might give more than, you know, 1 answers, then you might want to list all the possible answers that they can give and give them 100 for that if they answer that. Because some questions, you know, some students will write 3 meters, some students will write 3 without putting the unit. You know, we shall come to those questions as well. So when I finish, I just click on Save Changes. And when I click on Save Changes, it comes here. You know, this is the question name, not the question text itself. There's a difference between the question name and the question text. The question name is just like what the question is about. The question text is the actual question. So this is it right here. Now, I have not added it to this quiz. I'm still going to add it when I finish creating all my questions. Now, there is, if you look here, we say there is random questions. This is very important if you want to form a test bank, meaning that you would have to set a whole lot of questions. If you set so many questions, then what you want to do is to add it as random questions. You can click, this is just one question. If we create another one, we can add it as random questions. If you click here, it tells you. If you click on the help icon, it tells you about it. Now, I use this when I teach college students, so this helps in a way that they would not see like the same questions on the same test. If they take a test, they see one set of questions. If they take another one, they see another set of questions. So depending on how many questions you have. Now, you must have a lot of questions for you to use these random questions. You must have a lot. So if they take one test, if they take the test the first attempt, they might see a set of questions. If they take again, it's going to be similar but different questions. So let's create another new question. In this case, let's create a multiple choice. And the question name I will create here, I want to use this question here. So I'll put hourly wage. And to save time, what I'm going to do is to just copy this question here. I copy it and put this as text. Okay. Now, so your students won't say they didn't say it. You might want to kind of, make it bold, so they won't say they didn't see the questions. Okay. And I don't want to display any image. If I had an image, I would, click on it here to display it. I don't want any penalty factor, so I put 0 here. No general feedback. One or multiple answers. I want only one answer only. Shuffle the choices, yes. Number the choices, yes. Number it, but I want it to be uppercase, ABC. Okay, choice 1, which should be the correct answer, 399, 398, 499, 498. Okay, so I'll put 399. And the grade I will put here is 100%. Now, they are going to shuffle the choices anyway, Otherwise, if you want to put this as choice 3 or 4, that's fine. Okay, but they will even shuffle the choices, Yeah. Feedback, I'll put excellent. Now, it is good to give feedback to your students. Excellent work. Answer 2 is 398, and the grade will be none, which means 0. None means 0. Feedback, try again. This will be 499. The grade is 0, which is none. Feedback, study more and try again. Then 498. The grade is none. I will say more study and practice. Okay, review your notes. Review your notes. Okay, something like this, and I want 4 choices. Okay, and I would leave every other thing here. This is if you want to give a feedback for correct response, you fill it here. Partially correct, you fill it here. But I don't want those. I click on Save Changes, and this is the question, this shows that it's multiple choice, and this shows that it's short answer type. Okay, let me create another short answer. So I click on short answer. Question name here, the short answer I want to create is this. So gallons of gasoline. Gallons of gasoline. And I will just copy this. This is a word problem. Chukwuemeka's car runs about 32 miles on a gallon of gasoline. The gas tank in his car holds about 12 gallons. He wants to go to Buffalo, New York from Montgomery, Alabama, which is about 985.8 miles. How many gallons of gasoline will he need? So this is a good word problem. Okay, I also said it for my students. Okay, and I don't want any penalty, so I'll remove it. I don't want to display any image. Case is unimportant. I leave it here. Now the answer is 31 gallons. 31 gallons. Okay, and the grade here I will set will be, the grade I will set is 100%. I'll say excellent. Excellent job. Okay. Now, guess what? Some students will write 31, you know, and they might just write 31 without putting gallons. So I will still give them 100, but guess what I'm gonna do? I will give them feedback here. Good job, but put your unit next time. Okay, good job, but put your unit next time. Yeah, let me kind of put this in blue and this in blue. So this is kind of, you know, the joy of the whole thing. Yeah, some students might forget to write gallons, and you know, and some students might write gallons and put it close together, like 31 gallons. So you still consider those 31 gallons like this, you know, without leaving a space. You can still consider them, put 100% and put good job, but put a space between numeric and string, you know, between 31 and gallons, between the 31 and gallons. So something like this. Now it takes time to set questions and to provide feedback. It does, you know, but we are all doing this for our students. We want the best for them. Now you click on save changes. Okay, let me set this. So this is 2 short answer and 1 multiple choice. Let me set one last one. Let me just look. Let's look at true and false question, how it looks like. Question name. Is this true or false? Okay. 75% is 0.75. Here you see that the penalty factor, they already put 1, and the default grade is 1. We don't want image to we don't want any image to display. Now, you know, here they put penalty factor 1 immediately, and I cannot change it because with true and false question, of course, if the person answers it right, if the person has unlimited attempts in true and false, of course, you know, the person will get it, because if the student tries it the first time and gets it right, and gets it wrong, then of course you know that the other option is the correct answer. If it's true, then if the student put false when it is true, if the student attempts it again, of course, that student will put true. You know, if he puts false and gets it wrong, then the next attempt he or she will put true. So they kind of put a penalty factor of 1, but you know, it still doesn't matter. You could still override it. And the correct answer, of course, is true. It's true. And you can say, you know your percents. Percents and decimals. Okay, so feedback for the false response. Please study your percents and decimals. Okay, and save changes. Yeah, because of time, we could still have, you know, gone through all these questions, but because of time, let's just do this. Now, after setting this, what you want to do now is you want to select all. You just click select all. And because, you know, here we are not interested in random questions, you know, like I say, that the more you add, you can add random questions if it is many. But here we are not interested in random questions. You just click add to quiz. Okay, so you can change these grades. You know, you can change it, but I want to leave it as 1. Total to be 4. Maximum grade means what percent of the total grade in this in the course is this. You know, if you're going to give only 2 quizzes in your class, and your quizzes account for 50% of the entire grade, if you want to make this 25% of that grade, you change it right here. Yeah, this means that this is 10% of the overall percent. You know, 10% of the entire percentage in the course. Of course, 100%. So if it's a major quiz and you want to make it to account for 20%, then this is where you change it. Irrespective of this, okay? This is irrespective of this, okay? If you read the help icon, you see what I'm talking about. Okay, once you finish, just click save changes. And what we want to do now is to go to our class. So we click here to go to our course shell. And we want to take the quiz as student. And after that, we want to see the feedback. Okay, then we as instructor wants to know, okay, this student took it. What did he or she get? So you switch row to student. And you scroll down here. And you see this test on percents and proportions. So as a student, I click on it. And this is the directions here, the instruction. Please answer all questions. All answers carry equal points. You can attempt it on multiple times until you get it correct. Grading method is highest grade. So I will click attempt quiz now. If you had set a closing date for the quiz, it will also specify it here. So you click on attempt quiz now. Okay, and this is the quiz right here. This is the quiz here. So I know that this answer was $3.99. Okay, that was $3.99. Let me make sure. And the other one is 31 gallons. Okay, and here answer is Samuel Chukwu Emeka. Now I'm taking this quiz as a student now. Okay. And here, this is 31 gallons. Of course, if I set a quiz for myself, what do you think I will get? Of course, I'll get 100%. Trust me. So this is true. And once you do that, you have an option, of save without submitting or submit all and finish. I always recommend this, save without submitting, so it will save your answers, And when you're ready to now submit, okay, you see, this was the image I put. That was on the second video that I put this image, and it's still there. So when you're now ready to submit, you click submit all and finish. There's a warning that says you are about to close this attempt. Once you close the attempt, you will no longer be able to change your answers. You click OK. Yay! I got 4/4, which is 100%. And this is the overall feedback that we set at the beginning of the, when we are setting the quiz. And this was the individual feedback here. Excellent work, excellent response. Your teacher's name. Okay, excellent job. Your percents. So once once you're done, you just click on finish review, and that is the overall feedback here. Now, what's the next thing? Let's go back, return to my normal row, and let me see who took this test. Okay, I found out that I've taken the test, and this is the response. You can always preview your quiz now. Okay, you can always click on the results. If you click on the results, it gives you the name, what day and time I took it, what day and time I completed it, how many minutes or seconds did it take me, what's the grade, the questions, and the feedback, And it gives, one nice thing is also, it gives you the overall average of each question. So you kind of know what questions your students did well in. So you know whether to reteach those questions or those concepts. Okay, and you can download the results in Excel format or in text format and export it. Okay, so you can kind of play with this. One nice thing is that it gives you the bar graph of the number of students achieving grade ranges. Yeah, this is a very nice tool. So you can easily give a report to the parents, or to your principal or to your supervisor, based on this, how we can, without the students' names now, you can remove the students' names and kind of give it as a report to all the stakeholders involved in our education. You can regrade this, you can do manual grading. Hopefully, probably in the case of essays, you might need to do manual grading in some essays. Okay, so please, you can, play with all these things. Thank you so much for listening, students, and you have a great day.